Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock. It's time for another video. It's a 5x5. What is a 5x5? Well, the idea is very simple. I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject and I move on to the next subject. It's always quick. It's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. And today I'm going to be talking to you about everyone's favorite subject, magic gimmicks. That's right. We love spending money on magic, don't we? Of course we do. We're magicians. Whether you're a professional, a semi-professional, an amateur, a hobbyist, we love spending money on new tricks, don't we? But here's the thing. There's some gimmicks that have stood the test of time. And today I'm going to run down 5 magic gimmicks that are 100% worth every single penny. These are tricks that I've used, I've tested, I've paid for, and trust me, they've paid for themselves over and over and over again. So if you want to know what the top 5 magic gimmicks are that are worth every single penny, let's get into it. Starting, we're going to count it down from 5 to 1. And so first of all, let's go for number 5. So in 5th place, we have Wow, My Basuda. Now, Wow is pure eye candy. A card visually changes inside a sleeve. And honestly, it looks like CGI. It's easy to do. It resets fast. Spectators talk about it long after you've walked away, and it's totally underrated. Now, the cool thing about WoW is there are so many different versions of it. So you've got the original WoW, where one card will turn into another one. I mean, over the years, we've had face down WoW, we've had blank WoW, we've had portrait WoW, I'm waiting for penis WoW. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Masuda, make it happen. But seriously, WoW is great. Now, if you don't know this, I actually put a video on Magic TV a couple of years ago, the hows and whys of WoW. And I actually pointed out a bunch of different routines that you can do with the WoW gimmick, because there are a bunch of different routines you can do with the WoW gimmick. And here's the thing. One of the reasons I say it's underrated is because a lot of people use it to do the same thing. I'm going to put a card inside here and I'm going to make it change into another card. Well, you know what? That can be accomplished with a double lift, but there's so much more you can do. Have a look at that video that I put out and you'll kind of get a rough idea of the sort of things that you can actually do with this. But when it comes to actually having a gimmick that you carry around with you, here's the thing I love about this. It takes up no pocket space. You literally just shove it in your pocket and you are ready to go. Now, you can get an ungimmicked WoW sleeve, and in the past I've had an ungimmicked WoW sleeve, and you know what? I ended up not using it because nobody ever wants to examine it, and if they do, they just look at it like that and there's nothing to see. So yeah, you can switch it out if you want to cleverly, but I don't see the need to actually do that. I find that it's examinable enough just by doing it the way it is, and also it's not the sleeve that they want to examine, it's the card. Talking about the sleeve, the thing that with WoW that I really love is it's justifiable. A lot of gimmicks look like nothing on God's green earth. It's actually very easy to justify WoW because it looks like a sleeve that you would use for a card collecting game, something like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or something like that. And so when I use a WoW, I tend to say, look, I'm going to prevent sleight of hand. The way that I'm going to prevent sleight of hand is by putting your card inside this sleeve. Now, there's no way I can switch that card. There's no way I can change the card. There's no way I can do anything because it's right there inside this sleeve. The next thing I love about WoW is it is super visual. Like, as in, you can't replicate that with any color change. Because a color change, by its very nature, you've got to cover it or you've got to shake it. You've got to have some sort of cover. With WoW, that's not the case. I can literally just have it there and you can see it change from one thing into the other. So it takes up no pocket space. It's instantly resets. It's able to do so many different routines. You can use it with a signed card. You can use it with any card. And you don't even have to use it as a sleeve. You know, if you remember the original WoW Face Down WoW, which was one of the best endings for an ambitious card I've ever seen, by the way, as well as a million other things you can do with it. That wasn't even a sleeve. That was just like a kind of a thing that you put on top of the deck and you wrapped an elastic band around it. The point is, WoW by Masuda is great, and unlike a lot of stuff, it's very easy to do. Once you've got it, a couple of minutes later, you're going to be performing. It's very easy to understand, and it's going to last a lifetime. I've got a ton of them, and they all work perfectly. Nothing to hate about it. It's really cool. So there you go. In 5th place, we've got WoW by Masuda. So what's in 4th place? Let's have a look. So in 4th place, we have Quiver. we have the Quiver purse or the Quiver wallet. Now, what is a quiver? Well, effectively and basically, a quiver. Just adjust my chair here. The quiver, basically, it looks like a little sort of squeeze purse, right? That's what it looks like, and you can get them in two sizes. You can get a smaller one, and you can get a larger one. And it allows you to put an object inside the quiver and then have it change into another object. That's effectively what a quiver does. You can change one object into another object. So I remember when this first came out, everyone was using it for the same thing. They were taking a piece of paper or a coin, putting it inside and letting the camera see inside it as it changed into like a £20 note or something. Because that's something that you can very easily do with this gimmick. And it's one of those things that people immediately put into their bottom drawer. They took it, they put it into a bottom drawer, and they didn't really do much else with it. Well, I'm here to tell you that the Quiver has so many different things that you can do. Effectively, it's a change bag for a close-up magician. That's what a quiver is. It's a change bag for a close-up magician. So think about the versatility of a change bag. Think about the different routines that children's entertainers use a change bag for. Well, it's the same with a quiver. When you take yourself out of that mindset of it's designed to change one thing into another, you realize that there's so many other things that you can do. Not just changing one thing into another, there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. An absolute metric ton of stuff. In fact, I actually put a video out on this as well. I actually put a video out about a year ago on the Quiver. It was the hows and whys of the Quiver. And what I did basically is I went through a ton of stuff that you can do with a Quiver wallet. And I've actually got tricks on the Netrix as well with the Quiver wallet, extra to what I put on that video. And there's a couple of routines on Vanishing Ink's masterclass. I did a Vanishing Ink masterclass a couple of years ago, and I put the stuff on there as well. Like, look, here's the thing about the Quiver. It's amazing. You can do mentalism with it. You can do magic with it. You can do coin magic with it. It again, like the WoW, it kind of looks like a normal object. It looks like a little squeeze purse. The cool thing is you can actually get the spectator to do it, because without giving too much away, how it operates is you have to do something, and if you do that thing, it opens in one direction. If you don't do that thing, it opens in another direction. Well, the spectator doesn't know that, so you can give them the quiver, and they will open it up, and it'll always open up to the one side. So imagine that, for example, very, very basic idea, but imagine that you took the quiver and you put the quiver, you put a coin in there, for example, and you show them in there, they drop the coin in there, and then immediately you give them the thing, you do whatever you're going to do, and when they open it up, now it's a £20 note, and they can reach in there and they can take it themselves. I actually use the Quiver to do my favorite card to impossible location of all time. I've got a routine called Coin and Card Quiver Transposition, which is on the Netrix. I believe that it was on the masterclass as well by Vanishing Ink, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But the whole idea is that I take a card, one single card, I have it signed, I take it, and I show that there's little squeeze purse with a coin in it. I put the coin back inside, and I show the card. I hold it here, I rub it, it turns into the coin, and when they open up the purse themselves, inside is the card. It's a transposition mixed with a card to impossible location. And it's super fun to perform, and it's super easy to perform, and that's one of the cool things about the Quiver. It's very easy. It's instant reset. You can perform it for about 20 or 30 routines. It's always good to go. It fits into your pocket, and I've got about 15 quivers. I'm obsessed with the bloody thing. But one of the reasons I love the Quiver so much is because you can use it to switch coins in and out. So if you're doing a routine where, for example, the coins need to be reset or something like that, let's say that the coins need to be let's say they need to be examined, but you need gimmicked coins, right? Well, what you can do is you can use a Quiver. You can have the regular coins inside the Quiver. You can hand them out for examination, have a reason to put them back in the Quiver, and there's a million different reasons. And then when you take them out, well, now you've rung in the gimmicked coins, right? And everything fits self-contained into your pocket. So what I'm basically trying to say to everyone watching this video is go and get yourself a Quiver. It's absolutely amazing. I can highly recommend it, and I absolutely love it. So there you go. That's the Quiver. I've got a ton of routines on it. That is your fourth place best utility item that's worth every single penny in magic. Right, let's look at number 3. Okay, so in third place, we have the Omni deck. Let's be honest, the Omni deck is the ultimate kicker. After a solid card routine, the deck literally turns into a block of glass in their hands. It's visual, it's unexpected, and it's a closer, and people will scream. Now, when I say Omni deck, I'm not just going to throw Omni deck into here. I'm going to throw in any sort of effect that has an Omni deck style finish. So Omni deck is like a plastic block. So you're doing a card routine. It might be an ambitious card, for example, and the cards come to the top of the deck roughly 7 million times, because obviously you know as well as me, when you're doing an ambitious card, it has to come to the top of the deck about 7 million times. If you're not boring the crap out of your spectators, then you're not doing ambitious card well enough, right? But let's just say you've finished your ambitious card routine. Omni deck is a kicker ending. A lot of people will have the Omni deck in their hand, and then the final time they'll put it into the spectator's hands, they'll take out their card, and when they look in the hand, it's an Omni deck. It's a see-through block. The deck has turned into a see-through block of plastic or glass. Gary Jones has got a great handling for it, where the spectator's holding the deck, and they're not holding it in their hands. It's a misdirection thing. They're just holding it in their hand, and they don't realize that they're holding a glass block until they look down. Now, Palmer Magic, Sean Farquhar's Palmer Magic, owns the right to Omni deck, and you can get it directly from Palmer Magic. And there's lots and lots and lots of different versions of Omni deck. So Prop Dog will do a sort of an engraved version of an Omni deck, which is great if you like a wedding performer or a corporate performer, because what you can do is you can engrave it with the name of the bride and groom, and you can do your bride and groom trick where the deck turns into a glass block engraved with their names and the date of the wedding date and so on and so forth, which you can then give to them and they can keep as a souvenir. And what a giveaway, right? G Magic, I think it was G Magic, it might not have been. G Magic at one point put an aquarium in an Omni deck. So it was an Omni deck, and inside was a fish just swimming around. Just appeared with a fish swimming around. I don't think that was as popular, honestly. There's a cockroach version. I've seen a cockroach version where there's like a fake cockroach inside the glass block. But then you have other versions as well. So, for example, Phantom deck by Vanishing Ink is great. Joshua J's Phantom deck. Now, the Phantom deck is a little bit like the Omni deck, but it's basically a deck of 52 plastic see-through cards. And so the deck doesn't turn into a glass block. It turns into 52 individual see-through cards. And the cool thing about that is if you've got a card in the middle of the Phantom deck, you can't see it. It looks like you can just see through every single one of these cards. But then as you spread out, it will slowly come into view, which is just beautiful. So the Phantom deck is great. Go by Mark James. Does anyone remember Go by Mark James? It was like 5 different packets, and each one of them was like an Omni deck, I think, from memory. It was a long time ago. Also, you had the GOAT, the one that started it all, Solid Deception by Paul Harris, where the entire deck turned into a solid block. And then most recently, I think the most recent version of this sort of plot is Bricked by my friend Drew Perry. And honestly, I think the Bricked is probably the best version, because Bricked, you start off, and this is available through Alakazam. I gave it the trick of the year in 2024, I believe it was, or maybe 23, I can't remember. But Bricked by Drew Perry, he's got this deck of cards which is Lego themed. The deck looks like a Lego themed deck. And then at the end, the entire deck turns into a block of Lego. If you're a family performer and you do shows and there's going to be kids in the audience, that is a great thing to do. Regardless of all the different versions, here's the reason why Omni deck and all these different things work really well and why they're really good. The first reason is it doesn't really take up much pocket space. You've got to carry this thing around with you, but you can carry it in a hole, you can carry it anywhere that you want to. Second of all, it's a real surprise. It's kind of like the closest thing that card magic has to the final load when it comes to cups and balls. You know, the cups and balls routines are great, but you know what? Cups and balls is whatever. It's the finale that everybody remembers when the big balls appear underneath the cups. It's the same with the chop cup, right? That's the moment that everybody remembers, when the chop cup and the big balls and everything appears under the chop cup, or appears underneath the cups and balls. That's the moment that people remember. It's the same with card magic. A lot of the time, there's no big finale with card magic. Now, you can engineer that finale if you want to. You can do stuff like Having the deck go back into the same order, or Dean Dill's Blizzard is a great example. So there are things that you can do, but something like this, where the entire deck turns into a solid glass block, that's the sort of stuff that reputations are made of. And that's why I absolutely love this sort of thing. So in third place, you have the Omni deck, the original Omni deck you can get from Palmer Magic, or I believe they put it in Murphy's, so it'll be all good magic dealers. But there's lots of different variations out there. Right, let's go to number 2. Okay, so in second place we have Tool by David Stone. Now, Tool is brilliant. Tool's as old as the hills. It's one of those tricks that's been around forever, and I think a lot of new people that are coming into Magic haven't seen Tool. But Tool is basically a gimmicked card and a gimmicked card case. I think it's fair to say, I don't think I'm giving too much away from that. It's a gimmick card and it's a gimmick card case. And it doesn't look like a gimmick card case. You could examine it and it looks like a normal card case. And the gimmick card is just one card that just goes into your deck. Now, what it allows you to do is it allows you to do impossible changes. So let's just talk about the basic thing that you could do with Tool. You could, for example, have someone pick a card, have them remember it, put it in the deck, turn the card over on top of the deck. Let's say it's the 7 of diamonds. That's not their card. You put the deck in their hand and you say watch, and you go tap with the card box, and you go tap, you show the card box, you tap, you show the card box again, and the card has changed into their card, which they can look at. And when the card changes, everything's examinable. Well, everything in the deck is examinable, which is where they want to look. And if you want the card case to be examinable, it can be examinable with one little move. That's basically what Tool is. Now, just like with Basuda's WoW, and just like with Quiver, I've actually done a Hows and Whys on Tool. And the reason I did is because of the same reason I did one for WoW and the same reason I did one for Quiver. I don't think a lot of people use Tool for much. If you do own one, and a lot of people don't own one these days, but if you do own one, you're probably doing the same thing as everyone else, and that's doing it a disservice for as far as I'm concerned, because there is so much you can do. Now, David Stone is one of my favorite magicians. I think that David Stone is amazing. His style, his performance, his just everything about David Stone is great, right? He's just superb. And Tool is one of his finest creations. Now, let's talk about why it's so good. So first of all, it's all completely self-contained. You're going to carry a deck of cards around with you anyway when you go to a gig. So why not shove it in a toolbox? Because the thing is, there's a lot of routines that I do that I talked about on the Hows and Why, where the deck is not prepared at all. And you set the deck up during the course of the routine, and the routine is constructed to set the deck up. So you can show a card box. I mean, it looks completely normal. You take the cards out of the deck, give the cards to the spectator to shuffle, put the box to one side, and anytime you want to set up for a routine with Tool, you can set up for it during the course of that routine. So it's really practical because you're going to carry a deck of cards around with you anyway. You're going to have cards with you anyway, so you may as well use a toolbox, because if you're going to use a toolbox, it opens up lots of possibilities. Second of all, it's practical. There's no table required. You can do it without a table. You can do it in the hands of the spectator. Everything's examinable, or at least feels like it's examinable. The things that can't be examined are not where the spectator's focus is. You can do it with a signed card. It's got one of the best ambitious cards you've ever seen. You can do cards across with it. You can do color changes with it. There's so much you can go and have a look at the Hows and Whys of Tool if you want to, so you can see that. And when you buy Tool, you actually get 2 gimmicks. You get a red gimmick and you get a blue gimmick. So you get 2 gimmicks, which doesn't happen in this day and age. And it's going to last a long time. And when you buy a new one, it's not even that expensive. But here's the thing, it's like a lot of stuff in Magic, insofar as it's not the latest shiny exciting thing. So a lot of people don't buy it, don't even aware of it. New people that have come into Magic don't even know what it is. I've spoken to so many magicians, and I talk about Tool by David Stone, and they're like, yeah, I never heard of that one. But then again, I've spoken to some magicians that don't know who David Stone is, but then again, they know who Clec Encos is. So, it is what it is. Tool is amazing. It's very, very practical. And when you start thinking outside the box, and look, that's one thing that all of these tricks have in common. Whether we're talking about the Omni deck or all the variations of the Omni deck, we're talking about Tool, we're talking about Wow, we're talking about Quiver. All of them have something in common. And that thing that it has in common is that these tricks allow us to be more creative because they are tools. Pardon the pun. They are tools, they are utility items, and they have instructions with them, obviously. And if we follow the instructions, we're going to be able to do a really cool trick. But if we think outside the box, we're going to do an awful lot more. So there you go. That's all I've got to say about that. That's second place. That's Tool by David Stone. It's incredible. Now, let's look at number one. First of all, some honourable mentions. Before we go straight into number one, let's talk about a couple of honourable mentions. Honourable mentions, I'm going to put the Svengali deck as an honourable mention. I'm going to put the Mirage deck as an honourable mention. I'm going to put Double Cross as an honourable mention. And I'm going to put the Thumb Tip as an honourable mention. All of these are honourable mentions. I'm even going to throw in Extreme Burn, Instant Paper to Money, Pat Page Easy Money type thing. I'm going to put all of those in this kind of category, right? As, almost but not quite. The thing that takes the top spot, as far as I'm concerned, is the Invisible Deck. It's the Invisible Deck, man. Old but gold. A thought of card appears in a deck that's been on the table from the start. No forces, no weird handling, just direct mind reading, and it hits every single time. Now, when I came back to the magic industry, the first thing that I bought out was with Alakazam, and it was Gossip. But the second thing that I bought out was with the 1914, and it was Visible. And the reason I wanted Visible to come out before anything else is because I wanted people to realize that, people who hadn't heard of me for years, because I've been away from the community for a long time, I wanted them to realize that I was back. But I was back and I wanted to focus on the classics of Magic. That's my favorite thing to do. My favorite projects that I've released in the last 5 years as a creator are those projects where I take an existing trick that's been around for years and I turn it on its head. And I show how you can take that trick and you can squeeze lots of different life out of it. I've done it, I've done the Purse Frame project, I've done the Svengali deck project, the Mirage deck project, Cheeky, the Cheek to Cheek deck project. I've done, the Stebbins, Beyond Stebbins project, the Forecast project. I've taken all of these classics of Magic and I've tried to inject my own thought process into them and show how a one-trick pony isn't a one-trick pony. And honestly, the Savant deck is an example of that. The Savant deck is an example of a deck that's gaffed that you can do so much with. But near and dear to my heart is the Invisible deck. And the Visible project was the perfect project for me to bring out first. Because here's the thing with the Invisible deck, I don't think anybody watching this will argue that it's not one of the greatest tricks of all time. It's a great cabaret piece. It's a great stage piece. It's a great close-up piece. It's a great piece for mix and mingle. It's a great piece for table magic. It's a great piece for everything. Everybody loves the Invisible deck, right? Here's the thing. It's so much more. There we go. There's so much more. My wife was calling. There's so much more you can do with it than just the classic Invisible deck. And look, I'm not going to try and make this a pitch for Visible. I personally think that Visible is one of the best projects I've ever done. It's 4 hours long. My wife keeps calling me. It's so, it's 4 hours long. And I have, thrown my heart and soul into that project, and I've tried to show that an Invisible deck isn't just, hey, name a card, it's turned over in the deck. You can do confabulations with it, you can do cards across with it, you can do Triumph with it, you can do ace assemblies with it, you can do so many different things with it. You can do some of my favorite trick that I do, my absolute favorite trick, is a trick called Future Crying, which is where I have a conversation with myself in the future. I speak to my future self, and my future self calls me in the past to tell me the name of a card that somebody I'm with at that moment is going to pick. And then I'm able to predict their card because I've spoken to my future self. And then after the trick finishes, I then become the future version of myself, and I call myself in the past to tell myself the information that I learned from myself earlier on. And it sounds mental. but it is genuinely my favorite trick to perform. And if I could only perform one trick for the rest of my life, it would be that trick. And because it just sums up what I am as a performer and what I think about with my magic. And that's just an invisible deck. That's all it is. It's an invisible deck and nothing more. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love the invisible deck, and honestly, if you are a performer, you should carry an invisible deck with you. And I've said in the past, you know, I don't do double cross. I think double cross is great. It almost made this list. Double cross is legendary, and for good reason. But I don't do it because everyone does it. But the thing with the invisible deck is you can do the invisible deck and not do it the same way as everyone else. People won't think you're doing the same trick as the guy that they saw last week because you can do it in a completely different way. And that's one of the reasons I love the invisible deck so much. And if it had never been created and it came out today, it would, for the first time, it would still be an instant classic. So number one on this list, the invisible deck. So there you go, guys. That is another video in the bag. That's another 5x5 in the bag. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back together. I'm going to be back again very, very soon with another video. In the meantime, let me know down below what your favorite utility item is. What's your favorite utility item in Magic? What's your favorite Magic gimmick that's worth every penny? Let me know down below. If you haven't already done so, join the Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians, and there's a load of tricks with all of these items that I talked about up there on the Netrix. The sections on the Quiver, tool, the invisible deck. I feel like this is a sales pitch for the Netrix, but it really isn't. I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.